Oh my word. So the latest Chameleon prototype was completely fake. No one could have predicted that, right? So yeah, I'm sure you guys heard that their Kickstarter did not launch. Instead, they posted pics of what is by now a third alleged prototype board, and 3 days later it's identified as an old capture card. I did tell you that the project took a dark turn at the toy fair, but I just didn't think it would be confirmed to be an outright fraud so soon. But to me, the real interesting story here is what has not been said. I'm talking about this silence. For a guy who is so cocksure of himself, when he's cut off the information pipeline, you know there must be some sketchy shit going on. Mike has basically pled the fifth. But I don't care because the silence is the funniest part of this whole saga. I was having a blast the morning that they were supposed to launch their Kickstarter. It was hilarious to see their backers scrambling on the Facebook page trying to figure out what's going on, trying to figure out if the project is still alive, and meanwhile instead of responding to them, they're just banning people. That will go down as one of the happiest memories I have of this project. So anyways, you have to ask, is this the end? Well, who the hell knows? Like I said, it took a dark turn ever since the toy fair, so anything can happen now. But I'll be disappointed if this is the end, and so should you. Because I had so many ideas for videos that will never be made now. For instance, I'll never get to call out COLECO partner Jay Fontaine to a YouTube rap-off. So in some sense, Mike did steal from us. But I've decided that one video is worth making and still relevant. I was going to make this one after the Kickstarter launched. I wanted it to explain why Mike's project is doomed to fail. Long story short, he has plenty of ways to fuck with your money and spend it on everything except making the console. Let me show you just how fucked up the Mikeonomic system in Retroland can be by fully illustrating what should be the simplest subject of them all. I'm talking about the Atari tooling, the only physical piece of the puzzle that we know Mike actually has. A lot of people are under this impression. They think Mike bought the molds, then Mike made replacement shells which made money, so hooray! The molds paid for themselves. Now we have a free set of Jaguar molds to use on this project. Someone even asked him directly back in September if the campaign money will be used for this, and Mike said no, the cartridge and console tooling was privately funded. So that's good news, the Kickstarter backers won't have to pay for those molds. Right, Mike? Right, Mike? Well, actually, Mike told the real story on the Retro Gaming Roundup forum back in January. According to him, the purchase was made by one of his other companies known as Game Gavel. That's his little anti-eBay game auction thing. Mike says he loaned the money to Game Gavel, who then bought the tooling. Then a new entity, that in this post he refers to as, quote, the new console company, will take the Kickstarter campaign funds, and it will buy the molds off of Game Gavel, and Game Gavel will pay back the loan to Mike. So you might be thinking, hold up, wait 1 second, Stoppy McDroppy Retrovsky. You're obviously missing a step. The molds clearly paid for themselves through the lucrative sales of replacement Jaguar shells. But if that's what you think, you'd be wrong, because Mike explains exactly what happened there in that same post. According to him, the quote, few $1,000s in sales didn't go towards repaying the loan to Mike. For whatever reason, those proceeds instead went straight to Retro Magazine. And don't think that's the only way he'll be siphoning funds out of the new console company. Right after that admission, again in that same post, Mike describes how his campaign will pay Retro Magazine to cover his own console, and he'll charge the regular rate for advertising. Gee, you know, don't you think that if you have a retro gaming magazine, then maybe your paying subscribers would want you to cover a new retro console just because it's an interesting story that they might want to read about? Ever think that maybe those subscribers don't want a magazine loaded with sponsored coverage? So just to clarify, the only fucking things Mike actually brings to the table, that being the Jaguar molds and his magazine, he's gonna charge his backers for anyways. So in that case, why is he even part of the team? What does he actually do? He's not a software guy, he's not a hardware guy. He really is just a bill collector for the Atari molds and advertisements in the oh-so-popular Retro magazine. I don't think Mike even understands how Kickstarter works. When people go to Kickstarter, it's because they have this passion project that they've worked on for a very long time, and they come to Kickstarter to move into mass production. Every dollar is precious to them because they know that just about every dollar has a delivery obligation attached to it. They don't come to Kickstarter to get their fucking expense account reimbursed. And that is why his project would fail. He has found 1,000 ways to drain money out of that Kickstarter slush fund. I mean, let's just call it what it is. And let me tell you what, after he takes your money and the project really is up shit creek, don't you think for a second that he would give you anything other than what he's giving us right now. Absolute silence. But don't worry, you can count on me to be there to fill that silence with laughter. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.
What would you say you do here?
We want to work with as many of you as possible on into the future to bring your games and preserve them here on the Retro VGS.
I have people skills. What the hell is wrong with you people?